This episode is brought to you by Title IX and California Cryobank, and we are very excited to have them on board, making our show a possibility.
Welcome to If These Ovaries Could Talk. I'm Jamie.
I'm Robin.
And we're your hosts.
Be sure.
Love is love if you don't have to make a family by taking a traditional ride. If these ovaries could talk, you would say.
How do I get the sperm through custom?
I am a lesbian.
So gay.
So gay. We need to tell our stories.
It's not your nuclear family anymore. It's not just your mom and dad thing.
We're not ruining these little humans.
Not for the gay reason, just because we stay. Jamie!
Hi, guys.
Jamie!
Robin!
Next week is the last episode of season 7. We're not back until the Monday after Labor Day.
I know. But it's a perfect opportunity for all of you to re-listen to some faves or catch up on the ones you've missed. I mean, we have over 100
Shouldn't we
episodes.
just tell them to give a break from us? Like, shouldn't they just maybe
catch
detox
up.
from Jamie and Robin so that when we come back in September, they'll be like, I missed you. We should give them a chance to miss us.
No, well, listen, they might miss us too hard. And here's something you should do. Like, what you should do is, if you haven't done this already, go to the very, very beginning and listen to Robin and my story. We are the first 2 episodes. Our particular stories to becoming families are the first 2 episodes. So if you haven't done that yet, you should do that. That's what I'm thinking.
They're so sick of us, Jamie.
And it's also the first 2 episodes we ever recorded.
It is,
so we're like a little awkward.
I want to go back and listen to see how awkward we were.
We were pretty awkward. I mean, we barely even knew each other. We barely even knew each other at that point, too.
And now 7 seasons later.
Oh, geez.
Jamie,
All
we do have to ask our people to do one more thing for us, which is you got to vote for us in the People's Choice Podcast Awards. You're just going to go to podcastawards.com. Well, the reality is we have to beat Derek and Romaine. Like, they beat us last year. They beat us the first year. We beat them the second year. They beat us the third year. And now we have to win again.
They have won multiple times. Like, they were winning before we even came on the scene.
Yes, she had already. So now she's got 3. And if they get 5, they get to name the category. And we just can't have that. So,
I mean,
nominate us.
I love them. I love them. Yeah, nominate us.
I love them too, but I want to beat them. So nominate us in the Adam Curry People's Choice Award and the LGBTQ category. And when you get there, when you sign up, you're going to click the box that says, consider me as one of the listeners that will be randomly selected to vote on the final slate in August. When you register, click that.
And then also put our podcast down as the most influential podcast of the year. That's on there too. So make sure
many
you put
things.
us.
All right, you
so
guys
many things.
Just help us beat Derek and Romaine. That's all. That's all we ask.
Just help us win some awards.
All right, Jamie, thank our newest Patreon member.
All right, so we have to thank this very special person, Safatia Townsend. Thank you so much. Woo! And her business partner, Jen, on behalf of their soon-to-be new yoga studio, Home Yoga NYC.
That's their Instagram handle is Home Yoga NYC.
Home Yoga
so
NYC.
you want to go check them out
and follow them. And they, they're opening up this new yoga studio in the city. We need the yoga studios to open up again. Like, they all shut down. We don't have yoga.
Listen, Jamie needs yoga.
So we want to help her get this yoga studio opened. So go check them out.
All right, and if you want to help us make content for LGBTQ families, that would be amazing. And you could just join our Patreon community to do that. You go to patreon.com/ovariestalk. And there you're going to be doing a good thing. Plus, you're going to get bonus content. And at the gestational carrier level, you get video interviews of most of our episodes, and they're dropped a day early. So just head to patreon.com/ovariestalk. Whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Jamie, that was like a little whoop.
Have we mentioned we need a break? We need a slight break. That's what we have to take this break.
It's coming. We have to get to our guest. This is an intense interview. It's funny. It's heartbreaking.
God, beautiful.
It is all the things. But it does include that we want to say right up at the top that we are going to be talking about, for anyone who might have issues with this or, be upset by this, we are talking about the death of a child after delivery. So
it's still a very heartwarming story.
It is.
I mean, it's not just about that, just to put that out there.
No.
It's just a beautiful, beautiful story. So Cassie and Erin, they got pregnant with twins, but found out this terrible news that there could be an issue with one of the twins at the anatomy scan. And she went into labor at 25 weeks, and now they have one child.
Yes.
Who's beautiful and adorable and amazing.
They always felt like they were supposed to have 2 kids. And when they were pregnant with twins, they were like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be. But then when they lost their son, they were just too afraid to try again. And when Cassie emailed us, she said that she was listening to our podcast and she heard the episode where Ophira Eisenberg was talking about her fear around having a child and how she had to kind of fight through it. And they said they decided to try again. And I was
because of that.
because of that
episode.
oh my God. I was like,
Now I'm crying.
oh. But I mean, it just like amazing, amazing, amazing. And then we were like, please come share your story. And I'm so glad that they were open to it. This is such a wonderful interview.
Helen, wake up, Helen.
Okay, Helen, come on. This one's important. Hit play.
Helen.
Oh,
She's
God.
not real, guys.
I'm
Helen's
trying.
not real.
I'm trying
She's
really
not
hard.
real. We don't have an
really
assistant.
hard.
We have nothing.
Hi, Cassie and Erin.
Hey, hello.
Cassie and Erin Buccieri.
Buccieri.
Here we are.
Buccieri. Buccieri.
People heard us massacre your name a couple weeks back when you joined our Patreon. Thank you so
Yes,
much
thank
for
you so
that.
much
We
for
love
that.
it.
I think you nailed it.
I mean,
I think it was good.
I'm trying to
mean,
think back to the recording. And I don't
we
think
definitely
we did.
call you Cassie, though, like out
We
of the
did.
blue, because it said
We did.
Cassandra. But then we were like,
I know,
do you
that's my
think it's
lady name.
Cassandra or Cassandra? Like, what does she go by?
Like when I'm feeling really
Yeah.
professional, it's Cassandra. That's my lady name.
That's
But my after 5 p.m. name is Cassie. So
okay. Well, we got
Yeah.
Cassie
Your lunch
right now.
break name. Your lunch
Yeah.
break name.
Lunch break.
Well, you two.
Oh my
I
God.
can't wait to talk to you both, and Jamie can't either. And
Nope.
so we're going to start where we always do, which is with the dreaded elevator pitch.
Not dreaded.
All right, on your mark, get set,
No pressure.
go.
I'm Erin. This is Cassie. We're from Cleveland, Ohio. We met at work. She didn't like me very much at all. But really, the joke's on her. We've been married about 4 years now. Our journey to motherhood started about 14 seconds after we were married.
Mhm.
The path to motherhood was paved with a lot of love, but certainly a lot of gravel, a few speed bumps, a couple roller coaster rides. But we've been blessed with a beautiful daughter who is the light of our life. We're kind of obsessed with her. So that's our journey.
You hit it like
Oh.
30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? My first question, did you rehearse?
Just in my head.
Good job. I know, because Cassie looked like she was like, wow, where'd you come up with this? Where'd you come up with the roller coaster?
I gave her some like speaking notes of things that she should say, but she didn't say anything that I suggested. I said you should say opposites can attract because they are very different. So yeah, we did not like each other that much when we first met.
let's dig into that. Why didn't you guys
Tell us
like
about
each
that,
other?
for God's sakes.
Oh no, I like everyone, so it wasn't
That's
me.
why. No. Well, I felt like we were on the same work team at the time, and I was like,
Mhm.
well, I'm the gay on the team.
Right.
Oh.
And
Right.
Erin was just very, I don't know, she was the type of person in a team meeting where she'd ask a ton of questions when I was just trying to
Oh.
leave. She'd be like,
Right,
I have
right.
question 1 through 5, A through M. And I was like, can you just ask at a later time? So that was kind of frustrating for me, but I
But
mean,
here we are.
thank gosh she asks all the questions that she does, because we've had to ask a ton of questions with everything that we've gone
Yeah.
through. So
I'm
I
a
appreciate
questioner.
it. Yeah.
So thank God for that.
Well, you mentioned that your parenting journey started 4 seconds after you got together. Tell us about that.
So we got together, and I'm older than her, if you couldn't tell. And I think I got to the age where I was like, I'm probably not going to be a mom, and that's okay. And then I met Cassie, and, we fell fast. Not just a lesbian thing, it just happened.
Yeah, yeah.
And-
lesbian thing.
We just started talking about having a family together, and I never thought I would ever have a family. And it just came to be that I couldn't see myself having a family with anybody but Cassie. So because of my advancing age, my geriatric,
Wait, can we just
maternal
clear
age-
this up for a second? You look 9 years
You're not
old.
It's
Come on.
because she moisturizes.
Atta
And
girl.
I don't have that skincare routine. So when I'm Erin's age, I'm going to be looking like I'm 80.
But we're like, how old are you, for God's
we're
sake?
10 years apart. So she just turned 30 2 days ago.
Happy
She hates
birthday.
that I
Oh.
said that. And I'll
Happy
be
birthday.
40 in a few months. But
Yay.
Cassie had no desire to be pregnant. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. That's fine. So again, my advancing age, we're like, we probably need to get on this.
Mhm, mhm.
So that's kind of where it started about
But,
14
so Cassie, you had no desire to be pregnant, but you did want to be a mom. You always knew you wanted to be a mom, or was it like,
I don't know. It's one of those things where until I met Erin, I didn't necessarily know that I wanted to be a mom. Like I've never had this, people talk about this maternal instinct. For me, that's kind of never been the case. I've never felt really drawn to children, So it was one of those things that until I met Erin and I fell in love with Erin, you look at your past relationships and I think it was just, I couldn't, what Erin said, I couldn't imagine having a family with anybody else. So as soon as I met Erin, it was like, yeah, I do want a family with her.
Meant to be.
It was
meant to be.
Truly.
Yeah.
Okay, so you realize, okay, well, we got to get started because
if you're advancing age, still way younger
Right,
than
my
me.
advancing maternal age. So we did what every great gay couple does, and we went to the only couple we knew that had a child.
That's right. That's right.
So we did that and found out how they did it and realized we're not doing that.
How'd they do it?
They did at-home insemination. And I was like, I don't know that we could do that.
I can't do that. Like, I couldn't take on that responsibility and stress of inseminating. Like, that is just.
You're like, what am I, a doctor? I can't do this.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if I can navigate that. Like, that's a big deal.
So we just called our local fertility clinic and got an appointment
6 months later.
6 months later, because that's when the
6
first we
months.
could get in. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Why so long?
Supply and demand, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we waited anxiously and we did all of the research beforehand and none of it was accurate or right from what they told us to do, which was fine. So yeah, so we did all that before we got married. We got married and then had to wait, the 5 months to get into the doctor's office.
And it's one of those things, of course, you assume you're going to get pregnant
Of course.
ASAP.
Yep.
You're going to be that one couple that gets pregnant on the first try in our head.
Well, also because you're coming there without any fertility issues that you know of.
Right.
You're just
Exactly.
coming there because you need a little assistance. You need some sperm.
Right,
And you
exactly.
need somebody to put it in
need a
you
doctor
because
to
you don't know
stick it
how to
in
do
there.
that.
Exactly.
That's all you
Because
need.
I was not going to do it.
Right. Exactly. I like that you know yourself.
By the
Cassie.
way, I'm with you. I'm not checking your basal temperature. I'm not doing any of that. It's not happening.
No.
Oh, I was doing that.
I did that.
Yeah,
there you
but
go,
it didn't
Erin.
do anything.
Yeah, like
So-
before we
No.
even were married, Erin was on like a prenatal vitamin. She's like, I'm just preparing my body. And I was
Yeah,
like,
you
that's
were.
cool. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's
And-
prepare your body.
And then
Yeah.
when we met with the doctor, they were like, it should be in 3. So we decided on IUI. And she's like, in 3 to 6 times, it'll be great. We're like, great, because insurance didn't cover it. We were saving. We did all of that. So I'm like, in 3 to 6 times, it'll be perfect.
Right.
But it
Right.
wasn't.
Oh. And where'd you get the sperm?
So well, that's a story. So did you want to tell?
I mean, so Erin loves to say that she brings the egg, I bring the sperm. I think
Okay.
that's kind of on her business card at this point.
Okay.
It kind of
okay.
feels like that. So we just kind of researched different sperm banks. And of course, there are the national giant sperm banks, but we were looking at a few smaller ones that were in Ohio at the time. And I think we agreed our first, because we've had multiple donors, our first donor, was he a comedian or something?
Yeah. Like,
I was like, he's funny, I'm funny, like he's going to be a great sperm donor, like he'll be great.
Isn't
Like,
it
we're
funny
both
how in
so
the beginning
funny.
you're choosing them like you're dating in the beginning?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'd hang out with him.
He's
Yeah, well,
hilarious.
right.
This
I'm-
guy's hilarious.
Now, mind you, I don't actually know if he's funny.
No.
He just, like if you're a comedian and that's how you're making your work, I'm assuming you're funny. I'd hope
must
you'd
be
be
funny.
funny. Yeah, so we went with him.
Yeah. So the clinic suggested we buy 3 vials. So we bought 3 vials and off we went.
Yeah.
And 3 months went by and nothing happened.
Nothing.
So the next step was, okay, well, we'll just keep trying, but let's add medication to it. So then we've got the awesome idea, like it just isn't this donor. Let's go back to the drawing board.
That's so fun.
Switch banks, switch donors, did all that, and we
Ooh.
did some medicated rounds of Clomid
Okay.
of IUI.
Uh-huh.
So those 3 went by and
Yeah.
nothing.
It was a doctor this
man.
time. We picked a doctor.
Oh, as the donor. I was like, what do you mean a doctor?
I don't think he was funny. His write-up wasn't funny. So at this point, 2 bus.
2 bucks. But you only bought 3 of the doctor too.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I kept saying, well, 6 in my head, I'm like 6 months, the 6th time it will happen on the 6th time. She told
Right.
us 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Right. So that didn't happen. And we went back to
There
the
goes
drawing
the
board.
doctor.
Yeah, bye, doctor.
Right. So
Well, they
switch it up
described
again.
him as like Grey's Anatomy, like in the little like write-ups they put, they're
Yep.
kind of,
I know.
they try to be like funny.
And they're trying to subtly
Mhm.
imply he's
Yeah.
handsome.
Yeah, they were like,
Yeah.
this guy puts Grey's Anatomy to shame. I'm like, what? We
What?
want you. Okay.
Yeah.
We will take
Yeah.
3 of McDreamy. Thank you very
Right.
much.
I think at that point, it got disheartening because, we're 6 months in but we're invested. We're so invested at this
Mhm.
point. So do we keep trying? Do we just say, oh, well, but I think we were so invested that we're like, well, let's switch it up.
We went on a vacation.
I think we did.
in
We took a
there.
break, but then when we came back, we decided to pick a different bank and another donor.
Okay. You've been through all the banks in the
Right.
country. Sounds
Right.
We
like.
have, yeah.
Right.
This one, he was a student and a coin collector, which is an interesting hobby, but I was awkwardly attracted to that. So I was like, oh, he must be so good at saving. He collects coins. Like, yeah, this is great sperm. So that kind of spoke to me. So I was like, great. Yeah.
This time, though, they switched it up and we still did medicated, but we did it with an ultrasound and a trigger shot.
Okay.
Because in my heart, I kept thinking we're missing it. Like I'm so old, right? So maybe I'm
Right.
ovulating at different times,
So
or
old.
And you're not that old.
You're
but
just not
yes.
that old.
Yes.
Right. So the 7th time we got pregnant, and it was exciting. We later miscarried, and so we had to learn to deal with that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Like it was quick, and it was one of those opportunities where if we were a straight couple, I probably would not have known that I was even pregnant. But it was a gut blow for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we were as upset just because I think we were like, oh, wait, you can do this.
Yeah.
Like you can
Yeah.
get pregnant. And that was just really optimistic for us to be feeling
Mhm.
that after just
After
nothing.
7 tries,
Yeah.
right? Like,
After just absolutely nothing. So
yeah, that makes sense.
So then we went, okay, well, 8 is great. Let's go for the 8th try.
It is great.
8 is great. We got pregnant.
Oh,
A miracle again. So we're like, this donor is it. He's
collector.
the coin
This is the
collector.
coin-
Did
It's
it.
the coin collector.
Yeah.
our guy.
Oh my God.
And we, all the numbers were looking good. I had,
Because he's a coin collector.
he's a
Right.
coin
He knows how to
collector.
save.
Yeah, and is it HCG, the pregnancy
Mhm.
hormone? When we compared it to the first time I was pregnant to the second, it was like, whoa, oh my gosh.
You know my ass is on Google, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, Erin,
There it comes.
we're pregnant with twins. And she's like, get out of here. We're not pregnant with twins. And I was like, I know we're pregnant with twins. That's what Google says. And Google's never
Google
wrong.
says.
Google's always
Google
right.
doesn't lie.
Yeah.
I was not gonna lie to you.
And Cassie was right. We had gotten pregnant with twins at our 8th
Through
week ultrasound.
IUI.
Because of
IUI.
Clomid. Because of Clomid.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
Clomid.
They
Clomid
tell you
helps.
it's only a 10% chance. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah, you're dropping multiple eggs. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
It's
we knew
amazing.
that there were 2 mature follicles because we had the ultrasounds, but I'm like, there's no way. So twins, elated. I mean, over the moon.
Yeah.
But of course,
Yeah.
that last miscarriage was still in the back of our mind. So we're pretty
Mhm.
cautious about when we were going to tell people or anything of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
It was really exciting. We always wanted one. We intended to have one child. But then as soon as we got pregnant with twins, we were like, this is meant to be. Like, we're
Mhm.
meant to have 2.
Right.
So that's kind of
Oh.
how our perspective shifted.
mhm.
We didn't even
Mhm,
know we wanted
mhm.
twins until we heard the word twins. And then that's all we could think about was having
And then you were
2.
in love.
Yeah,
That was it.
for sure.
So I would say everything went as would be expected for a pregnancy or even a twin pregnancy. And we made our announcement. When did we make our announcement?
So we were going to Disney World,
Oh.
and
as you do.
as we do.
As
That's
you
when you're
do.
pregnant with twins.
Yeah, I mean, so at her anatomy scan, at 18 weeks, we were like, oh, great, we'll find out, the sex of the babies, and then we'll do this like really cute pregnancy announcement because, we'll let people know that we're having 2. So I guess our anatomy scan was not anything like we expected.
Yeah, like when you go to an anatomy scan, I was literally expecting like the television, like it's a boy or it's 2 boys or it's 2 girls. When it was
Yeah.
not like that at all. And it was kind of just like, okay, and doing the measuring and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And then a doctor came in and he was like, well, we can't get good measurements on the one, but the other one seems okay. It was just very cold and curt, and then just walked out of the room. And we're like, well, is it a
Oh.
boy? Is it like, we didn't even really know what it was.
Yeah.
I had that NIPT test, that blood test that tells you that it could tell you if you were having a boy or a girl. And it came back that there was, because they can test the blood. Science is incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah, they were able to tell me that there was a male chromosome present in my blood. So we knew we were having at least
a
one boy, but it couldn't tell us a boy or a girl. So at that anatomy scan, the one baby was fine. The other baby wasn't. They thought it was the okay baby was the girl, but we weren't sure. So we went to Disney like, okay, I think things are okay. We didn't feel great.
No.
So we decided it must be a boy and a girl. That's what we'll announce.
We went with that.
Yeah, we
Right.
went with that.
We really did go with that.
Yeah.
And it was definitely not a feel good. We felt so ill to our stomachs after our anatomy scan that the second we left, we messaged Erin's actual OB to say like, hey,
could you look at this? This thing?
you
Oh,
double
that's so
check it?
smart that you did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would think to do that.
Right. And he got back to us pretty quickly and he said, yeah, I looked at it. Things look good. So I think we had that
We were like, okay.
yeah,
Like
we were a little calm. So we went to Disney, we had fun, and then we came home. And then when did we get scanned again?
we had a 22-week scan.
When you're pregnant with twins, they scan you all the time. So that was nice.
Yeah, so we had a 22-week span with the high risk
OB.
And that's kind of where things just instantly went south for us with the twins. We found out that twin A, the boy, had low amniotic fluid. And that would cause, we weren't sure if his lungs were going to be developed appropriately because that's usually done around 18 weeks. So when they went to reference the 18-week ultrasound, which was the anatomy scan for us, I guess the doctor did not measure the amniotic fluid. So I know how you can fuck that up. I have no idea.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they couldn't even compare, like, is this something that just happened? Is this something that's always been there? So it was a crapshoot. Literally, he could be fine. He could not be fine. We had no idea what
But you had to sit with that.
We did. And we're like, well, we have to sit with this until these babies are born. And we will see. So it kind of gave us an opportunity to think about our children and what we would do in the unfortunate event that we had to make a decision, or what would both of our children's lives be like? What would baby B, who is our daughter, what would happen if she was fine and he wasn't, or all of those things. So we had to sit with that. And we're only 22 weeks along.
Yeah. And they even told us, our doctor advised that, typically they can give you the option of, I don't even know how to word this appropriately.
To terminate one of the
Selectively,
pregnancy.
yeah, selectively.
Right.
Selective
However-
reduction.
Right.
Or
However,
whatever.
because Erin was 22 weeks at the time, it was going to be dangerous to not only Erin, but also to our daughter. So it was almost like we just felt, I know for myself, speaking for myself, I just felt a ton of anger at the doctor at the anatomy scan who didn't take the appropriate
due
measurements.
diligence.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what if we would have found out then, could we have made that decision? So it's almost like I felt as if a decision was taken from us. Not
Right.
saying what we would have done,
Yeah, we don't know. But we didn't have any more. We didn't have that option, even if it was something we would have considered.
But at this point, it's just something you have to sit with and hope.
And know that you got for like a while because you're only 22
Yeah.
weeks.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I just kept thinking, I think at that point I was like, I'm pregnant. I have these babies. They were sent here. I had such hope that everything was going to be fine. It was going to be fine. We've waited so long. We've done so much, 8 times. Like they're going to be fine.
Yeah,
It's going to be fine.
Yeah, and we feel like we're pretty okay people, and we're like, man, something good needs to happen to us.
Yeah.
Like, please, can something good just happen?
Yeah.
to us?
Like you deserve it.
Yeah.
Right. And then I just kept going to my doctor's visits as normal. And, they make you go to the back, they pee in a cup, they check protein every time you're there, and everything was fine. But I was getting uncomfortable and I was worried, should I be resting more because I have this potential child who needs a lot of extra care. So
Right.
my doctor said, you don't need to be on bed rest, but if you could sit during the day, that would be awesome. My work was much accommodating, letting me work from home. I felt really good. I was feeling great, even though pregnancy is awful. So,
Horrible.
but we could talk
Awful.
about
The
that.
worst.
Yeah. I
Did
felt,
you feel good?
yeah, the day I went to the doctor, he said, let's do some blood work just to be safe. I'm like, sure, great. I felt good that day. I was working, I'll never forget, I was working from home and he calls me and he's like, you need to go to the hospital. And I said, I feel great. Why? Like, what's happening? Apparently there were a lot of my liver enzymes were off. There was something going on and he wanted me to go and be monitored. So went to the hospital, had to be on a 24-hour test where they check your urine for 24 hours. And then we find out that, yeah, I'm probably a little preeclampsia. Like I'm almost there.
Oh, no.
Now, mind you, this was around like Christmas. And I just remember thinking I have to be in this hospital now until I deliver these babies.
Ooh.
And I'm like, what about the Christmas? I'm not going to be out. Like pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
But we had some really great people, really good friends that came and kind of talked me out of that. We're like, it's going to be fine. Christmas will be fine. And so I accepted it. We kind of moved on.
Yeah, I was ready. I was ready to bring the stockings to the hospital. We were going to celebrate. I love Christmas. I was like, oh, it'll be great. So this is around like December 12th. And, you know, they were kind of realistic with us. They were like, you know, you just want to make it to January 1st. And I was like, that does not seem long enough, but okay. Like, well,
What would
Yeah,
that
how many
be,
weeks are
January
you at this
1st?
point?
So I was 25 weeks when I went into the hospital. So that would have made us like 28 weeks.
Jeez.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
Oh my
that's
goodness.
so early. But we were like, okay, whatever we need to do, we want to do what's best for these babies, that kind of a thing.
Mhm.
So we went ahead and got comfortable in the hospital. Like the nurse was so cute. She brought in like a fake Christmas tree. Like it was very sweet.
Aw.
Cassie went home because she's like, well, I got to go to work and all of that. And I was like, okay. And so I was working from the hospital at that point. And
Mhm.
that night, I remember I was in bed and I'm like, oh, I have some gas pains. Like I kept saying like, oh, gas
I'm
pains.
irritated.
And they just weren't going away. And I kept saying to the nurse, like, I'm having gas pains. And she's like, oh yeah, here's some, I don't know, she gave
Some
me
gas
Pepsid or
X or-
something. Yeah, something.
yeah.
And that didn't do it. Then the next morning, like 6:30 a.m., Cassie rolls in and I'm crying. I'm in pain. This gas pain is awful.
I was like, Erin, what do you mean you have gas pains? Like you're pregnant, you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
you're having persistent gas pains. Why didn't you call me in the middle of the night? Like, why-
Also, you were in a hospital. Now,
Right.
wait,
Like,
what's
freak
that?
out to
why
the
aren't people,
nurses.
like,
Yeah. It
I
was-
would have flipped tables if I
Yeah.
was there, but I wasn't there. So
and I was like, they keep happening. Like,
But how
Oh
annoying
my
that
God.
the nice,
How does
wonderful
nobody
nurse that
picking
brought
this
the
up?
Christmas tree didn't pick up on this.
yeah.
So
So fast forward, I'm 4 centimeters dilated. Had
Oh
no
my
idea.
God.
I'm 25 weeks and 6 days.
Oh my God.
They roll me right into the OR.
I am like honestly the most panicked I could be. I was wearing an Aladdin t-shirt at the time. I was like, I'm not ready to be a mom, you know, and the doctor at the time was like, well, you better suck it up and get it together because you're becoming a mom today. And just to hear that so early
Yeah.
was just flooring to us. And,
Yeah.
you know, I said to the doctor, have you ever delivered babies this early? And she's like, yeah, you know, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. So you kind of just put your hope,
And,
you know,
and
with
everybody.
strangers.
Yeah. And everyone else.
and
except-
that's very alarming.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I delivered our son naturally without anything because he was there.
Right.
Being 4 centimeters was enough because he was very small, 1 pound, 7
Yeah.
ounces. He was born.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Our daughter's heart rate dropped, so they kicked Cassandra out of the OR and put me out under general
Oh, yeah.
anesthetic. And then
'Cause
our
it's gotta
daughter,
happen.
right? Our daughter was born 14 minutes later, which still baffles my mind that they can put me
Mhm.
under and get a baby out in 14 minutes, but they did.
Oh, I was thinking that was too long. I'm like, why'd they take so long?
Oh, yeah.
What took so
Right.
long? That baby
14
needs
minutes
to come
Right.
out.
Right.
Yeah. Seriously, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know, Erin had, well, you know, I think you are familiar with the magnesium drip, you know, to kind of
Yeah.
protect, you know, Erin and the babies. And she was only able to be on it for
like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
At that.
They were like, whatever we can give you.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it was just kind of like, this
It
is
was a
go
whirlwind
time.
for sure.
Oh my
and then our daughter
God.
was born 1 pound 9 ounces.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God. And your son was what?
1 pound 7 ounces.
Okay.
So they were whisked off to the NICU. And of course, I'm under general anesthetic. I have no idea what's happening or what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's where you come in.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Because,
Yeah.
I'm here.
yeah, because Cassie, you weren't in the room.
No, I wasn't in the room where it happens. And I
Like
Yeah,
Hamilton?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. Thank you.
Yeah, I got
That's
you.
why I
We're with
married
you.
you.
We're with you. I saw where you
Yeah.
went. I saw what you
And
did there.
it was, like I had to, in between all that, like let our family, know, and Erin, both of her parents have passed away. So it was just like her brother. I had to let her brother know. And, I had to call my parents and just like our close friends. And it was just, everybody showed up to the hospital. There was just a ton of people at the hospital. So I
Yeah.
remember just, letting them know that Erin was okay. And, the babies were okay at that time. And I was able to see you when you were in recovery. And I
Mhm.
just remember thinking, I can't believe I'm a mom right now. It was just like, as soon as parenthood hits, it's just, like a veil just kind of comes over you. And it's
But
just
also because you can't see the babies. It's not like
Right.
they,
Yeah.
they
You
were
haven't seen
handed
them
to
yet?
you.
Well, I saw our daughter get wheeled to the NICU, and the doctor at the time, I was like, can I take her picture as, she was getting wheeled to the NICU, and he, kind of let me like touch her little hand and take her picture really quick. And I was like, I don't know what I was expecting a child born that early to look like, but I remember being like, oh, she's a little bigger than I thought she would look. Now, in hindsight, I'm like, no, she was so small.
Yeah.
Well, because I just want to say, like, at that point in pregnancy, it's still so surreal.
Yeah.
Like, like when the baby's inside you at 22 weeks, it still feels like it's just this little, like, dot.
Yeah, you're not even getting
Yeah.
tons of
Right?
kicking. You're not even getting tons
Nothing.
of. It's just
I don't think I was kicked once that I felt. I would feel flutters and that was it, but I felt nothing. No kicks or anything like that. So yeah, it was definitely surreal. Like I remember coming to, and I remember seeing Cassie like, are they okay? Like, cause I mean, it was so early. I remember laying there going, it's too early. Like I just thought I was gonna wake up to devastation.
Ugh.
And she was elated, like, yes, they're alive and they're breathing, with a ventilator, of course. And so I was relieved at that point.
Mhm.
And then I want to say, I don't know how long later.
Yeah, and we were in recovery, and a doctor or a nurse, someone came up to us and said, they want you in the NICU immediately.
So the bottom fell out,
Yeah.
right? And I'm still kind of like, I'm coming to from anesthetic and I can't walk. I've just had a C-section. So they roll me in this hospital bed down to the NICU. And they have these rooms designated for multiple births. And they wedge me in to see him, our son. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
And there's like a million people there, all trying to help him. And of course, our daughter, too. And they looked at us honestly and was like, there's nothing. His lungs hadn't developed, which we knew could be possibility. And we went ahead and we made the decision that we didn't want to keep him alive to suffer just for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was definitely like one of those things that, what would his quality of life have been? What was his quality of living going to be? And, we did not want him to be alive
For selfish
selfish reasons
Right,
for us.
Right.
And honestly, that first decision of motherhood was the worst decision that you have to make.
Oh my
But
God. Yes, I can't imagine.
I try to think of the people who don't have. It sounds weird. Like we had 3 weeks to think about what we would do, and some parents don't get that. They have to make a decision like that. So we had already kind of had that conversation. Like, what are we going to do if it happens? So we got to hold him. Our whole family got to hold him. He lived for 3 hours. We got a recording of his heartbeat. It was an amazing 3 hours that we got to be with him. everyone was so nice. They took pictures of the two of them together. So that was our beautiful son that we got to hold and love on for a few hours, but we got to have that time with him.
Yeah.
And then we entered into our NICU stay with our daughter.
Because you're not out of the woods. I mean,
Right.
No, not at all.
She's 25 weeks and 6 days at the time.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
I just
God. And sorry,
you know.
what was your son's name?
Bowen.
Bowen. Okay. Just want to say his name.
Oh,
Bowen.
thanks. Yeah. We think a lot about like, what would he have been like, or who would he look like our daughter, like all of that.
Yeah. It hits us like at moments.
Like this, like, and I didn't expect this to happen. So
Yeah,
I'm
no,
so
like-
sorry.
like grief.
No,
you know.
don't apologize.
Yeah. Grief hits you in the
Yeah.
most random places, at the most random times. Obviously this is not random or we're talking about him. So, but it was definitely a weird to process grief when you can't, because we had to go right into, okay, well now we have to fight for our other child.
Yeah.
And it's, one of those things where, we didn't know him, but we knew like the idea of him and what it was going to be like having a son. And that's, I just can't, we just feel so strongly for parents that, lose children that they know and they get to actively love. And, we love the idea of having him with our daughter and just, we had a nursery set up for 2. We had boys, we had all the things, and he was so wanted. We wanted him so much. So that was, it's even, sometimes I just catch myself years later just breaking out into tears because, I'll just think of something that, they could have been doing together. And I just remember in the room saying, well, how's our daughter? Like, we can't lose both of them. Like, we can't lose both of them. Like, please, like, and they assured us they were going to do everything that they could.
Okay, let's talk about Title IX and my new favorite shorts in the whole wide world.
My God, I love the Title IX clamber shorts. I wear them every day.
Every day you might want to wash
Every
them.
day.
Every day you might
Yeah,
want to
I
wash
know.
them, but I
I
want to
got
wear
a couple of pairs, Jamie.
Oh, do you now? I might want to wear them every day too. Look, they're the best. They are perfect for a day with the kids or a hike or a day on the couch or a walk through the city or a trip to the bar. I mean, anywhere. They are good anywhere. Yeah, they're super stretchy and they have a wide, comfy waistband, which is very important for us moms. And they have tons of pockets. I want like 10 pairs. I really do.
Pockets with zippers. Oh my
I
God.
know, it's so good.
All of you at home, the Title IX designs and sells performance outdoor gear and apparel for women on the move. Women like us, Jamie, who basically have no space in their lives to wear something uncomfortable.
No
And
space.
that's so
none.
true.
And ain't nobody got time for that. And it doesn't stop there. Title IX gear and apparel is built to perform and made to last. And they have more than shorts, you guys. They have innovated swim pieces with bottoms that actually fit.
Actually fit.
Actually fit. Every product is designed for women seeking out their next adventure or just trying to feel good in their clothes. Who doesn't want that?
And if I could go back to the clamber shorts for a moment, they're technical enough for a day hike. They're comfy enough to wear on the couch and cute enough to rock anywhere you go.
Yeah.
So throw them on, take them off. We have found, Jamie, our go-to go hard shorts.
Yeah, we have. So guys, right now, Title IX is offering our listeners $10 off and free shipping on orders over $100 when you visit Title9.com/OCT. Just go to Title9.com/OCT for $10 off and free shipping on your order over $100. So good. It's worth it.
Yeah, and that's Title IX, TITLENINE.com/OCT.
It's totally worth it. I love these shorts.
So with extreme preemies like Beckett, she was a micro preemie at 1 pound, 9 ounces. They say the first 24 hours is critical. And she had a pretty, like her first 24 hours was pretty fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And her second night of life, she had a pulmonary hemorrhage, which means that there was a lung bleed
Oh my God.
that they were having difficulty getting control of. And they weren't sure if that was going to cause brain damage for her and what it was going to look like for her. And
I was still admitted in the hospital and they call our room and they're like, you have to come down to the NICU.
Oh, for
This is
Christ's
the
sake.
second time.
You had to
Yeah.
be
The
like,
last time you went
you had to
down.
be like just a pit in your stomach.
Yeah.
it was just, we walked in silence. We just held hands and got to the NICU as quickly as we could. And, just to hear them say they don't know what damage has been done because of, the episode that she just had, it's devastating.
Yeah. But she was miraculous. She pulled through that. And unfortunately, that was the first of many roller coaster rides that the NICU granted to us. But we got through it. We got through that first hurdle for sure. So that was day 2 of 147 days that we were there.
Oh my God. 147.
How long is that in months?
5 months.
It's like
almost
5 months.
5 months.
Yeah.
So like, not only are you dealing with the loss of one child, your other child is still in the NICU, and you have to, for 5 months, you don't get to bring a baby home.
Correct.
So we slept at the hospital for the first, we did not leave the hospital for the first
48 nights or something like that.
Oh, wow. And they let you do that.
Yeah, they're very accommodating. They had like a couch, like a pleather couch and a pleather chair, and that's just where we would park. And it's this weird feeling because here I am, a mother, and I'm producing milk for my child, but I can't hold her. I can't bathe her. I can't dress her. I can't comfort her. She's literally in a box in this incubator, doing the growing that she needed to do inside of me, but she wasn't given the opportunity to do. And I don't think we knew how to leave. Because I'm her mother. I have to be we're her mother. We have to be with her all the time.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a hurdle to try and jump over. There was literally nothing we could do except sit in that room and stare at her.
That time must have felt like 6 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the day, I've never been to Vegas, but how they make all the casinos feel like dark and you don't know what time of day.
24 hours a day.
That's kind of what the NICU felt like. You didn't know when it was day or night. The only reason you would know if it was day or night was because you had a day nurse versus the night nurse.
Right.
So those types of things. But it was hard. The hardest thing I think we've ever done.
Yeah. Now, also Erin, probably a few weeks into our stay, was complaining about calf pain. And I was like, Erin, why is your calf hurting?
I thought I pulled a muscle,
I was
sleeping in a chair.
We haven't moved. You haven't pulled a muscle because we haven't moved. We've just been sitting in the NICU. And our nurse at the time, shout out Liz, love you, made Erin get it checked just to be safe, because she had her C-section. And Erin, ended up having a blood clot.
That's what I was worried about. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I'm pumping to provide milk for Beckett, and I can't be on the regular medication. So then I have to give myself blood thinner injections for 3 months. So it was fun. It was fine. It was a good time.
Oh my God. They keep coming.
The hits keep on coming. The hits keep on coming.
They do. But each day, our daughter would give us a reason to rejoice and to celebrate and be so proud of her. And then some of those days it would be like, oh gosh, what's going to happen today? So yeah, we went through a lot with her in the NICU. It's so many things, like a hernia surgery. She weighed 3 pounds and had to have a surgery. I'm trying to think what else.
Heart issue.
Yeah, she had a PDA, this a hole essentially in her heart that just wouldn't close up. They had to do medications for that. So just a myriad of different things that she had to go through.
She had feeding issues where she was aspirating. So liquid was getting into her lungs, which was causing very dangerous heart rate drops. So her heart rate would just randomly drop, and it was death defying the way that her heart rate would drop.
Yeah, to 2.
At one point, they thought she only had 1 ovary even. And that was we don't care.
You're like, she can adopt.
We don't care how many ovaries she's had.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
That doesn't matter to us. So
yeah, right.
It's amazing how you put into perspective, right?
Right. Yeah. The ovary's not important, but the aspirating is important. That kind of thing.
Let's keep her alive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, she has 2 ovaries. So that's great.
Good for her. Yeah. You go get that girl.
Yeah. And they talk. Her ovaries do talk.
If they can.
Of course they do.
And
I wonder what they're saying.
Who knows?
They're saying my moms are awesome. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. So we really learned early on to be an advocate for our daughter and to speak up. And it was one of those things where, of course, we're not doctors, but we learned kind of ins and outs of, what to look for her. So there were a lot of times where we would just be very vocal about what we thought was the right move for her.
And we never left, so we were already there.
Yeah, like, can you give an example
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
So there was one night where now she's hooked up on monitors all the time and you're constantly
and
watching
she's
them.
in the little
Yeah, she's in an
bubble.
Is she in an incubator at this point? Yeah, I think she was still in there. Once they get to a certain size and they can manage their own temperature, this is a lot of NICU talk, but they put them into like an open crib, but she was still in an incubator. And like I said, we were there forever. So we watched that monitor 24 hours a day and we could watch her dips and drops and what was going on. And it just felt like it was happening a lot more than it had.
Body language.
Yeah, it just felt so weird. And all the doctors and nurses were like, no, this is fine. This is normal. We're like, no, this is not her. Like, it's just not her. So, and I'm, if you haven't known already, I follow the rules. If the doctor says so, the doctor's right. Let's do, but this one,
No, you got to rally for what you want. And I just knew that something was wrong. And, we escalated that a bit and they were able to do like a scan on her and ends up that her lungs were
full.
Full
yeah.
of just.
Yeah, they call it like whiteout. It was whiteout. They took an X-ray and her lungs had a whiteout. So they needed to get her on more Lasix. They had to definitely intervene and give her some different medications and different things like that. So
did they thank you?
No.
No, our hospital staff is amazing though. We can't say positive things
right.
about
Yeah,
them.
no, I know. I don't want to badmouth them.
No,
but it honestly was like a foundation of learning for what, as parents, that you have to advocate for your child because they can't talk for themselves or know what's right or wrong or what's good or bad. So it was definitely a learning tool for kind of what we're dealing with now.
Yeah. So after we were able to come home after 147 days and we did not tell anybody we were coming home because we were so nervous because there were so many times that we were going to come home and then she'd have an episode and they would keep us longer. So we did not even tell our families we were coming home. We were just keeping it like a secret. We had ended up coming home on an apnea monitor, which was monitoring her heart rate and her
breathing rate.
Yeah. I can't
Just
even
in
imagine the
case.
fear.
Oh,
So scary,
I was horrified.
right?
Like I'm an anxious person as it is. So just to bring home this little, chicken tender of a child and, on all these wires and it was on medications. It was a lot, but
like, how like when you take your firstborn child home and you sit in the back seat with them, like it was like that to the nth degree. And I'm in the back and she's got this monitor on. And then my wife is driving home just sobbing, yelling at everyone driving by, stop, don't get so close, like that kind of stuff.
As if they can hear me.
This is a bumpy ride.
Right. I mean, I'm not one for the child on board sticker, but like I felt like, maybe I need that. So people
You need
know.
like 10
I feel like, in New York City, they have like these things you put on your bumpers so that people don't like tear up your bumper because when they're parking, I feel like you needed one of those all the way around your car, like an inflatable raft around your car being like, get away from us.
Why?
Right. Yes. That would have been perfect.
And that's like kind of what
should have got one of those.
I know.
Oh, darn it.
Hindsight.
That's how you feel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how big is she now?
She was like 7 pounds. She was over 7 pounds when she was
about
discharged.
7 pounds. So she was pretty substantial, but mind you, she's 5 months old and 7 pounds.
Holy shit.
Right.
So she's the size of a newborn at 5 months.
Right. Yeah. And people would love to say, oh, yeah, she's so little. She's so cute. And that is completely the most inappropriate thing to say to a preemie parent who, like, I don't want her to be little.
Yeah.
Like, I want her to be
12 pounds.
Yeah.
And,
Regular size.
Right.
That's what we want. We got her home and it was just a ton of follow-up appointments. It still is. She's 2.5 now.
Almost 2.5. Yeah.
Her name's Beckett.
And she's
amazing.
She's here and she's alive and she's well.
Yeah.
She's sassy. She is a challenge.
The way
but
you
she is-
described her in your email to us was you said she's so saucy, like you said something like marinara sauce, like she got
Marinara.
heartburn.
Yeah, she definitely, she's not like Alfredo sauce. She's like full-blown marinara sauce, like gives you heartburn, makes you feel like your heart's beating a billion times a minute because she just, she's amazing, but she does have a lot of kind of like, I don't want to say like medical needs because we've been truly pretty blessed with the issues we could have had. And didn't end up
But there's some
having.
residual
But
things you
yeah,
still have to
like-
handle.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
she's not your normal 2-year-old, and that's okay. But again, we don't know what a normal 2-year-old is, so
Yeah.
she's normal to us. She's
Mhm.
delayed in verbal speech, but her receptive speech is off the chain. So there's some things there that we have to work through every week. You know, she goes to therapy 3 times a week. We go to all these follow-up appointments like nutritionists because she's still tiny, neurology, like all of these different doctors that we follow up with her.
Sonophrology,
Yeah. So
cardiology.
yeah.
And she still is pretty tiny on the growth scale.
Yeah, she's like 1%.
Okay.
You know, like when parents are like, "Oh, they're 85% on the," and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, she's
Oh,
one.
are they?
She's 1%."
I want to ask you, because one of the things that you wrote in about was this next chapter in this next phase. You wrote in about an episode that you listened to and about fear. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's me. You know, after that was me, Cassie, who wrote you. And I, like I said, we don't really, well, I can speak for myself. I don't really listen to podcasts or anything like that. I would rather just watch TV if we're being honest, you know,
Me
but
too,
when we
if we're being
stumbled across
honest.
your podcast, Erin was listening in chronological order.
She
So
seems
she
like she
started at-
would. That's right, Erin.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
right.
But I was, you know, just like randomly clicking episodes, you know, I was like, oh, I like that title, and I click it. So I was driving, and at this point, you know, we're not quite sure if we should try for another child just because, you know, what if something goes wrong? You know, what if something happens to Erin in childbirth?
And
Mhm.
what if Beckett needs 125 gajillion % of our time?
yeah. And, you know,
Right,
it's
right.
kind of, she does need a lot
right.
of, you know,
And is it stupid? Is it foolish? Is it
selfish
Is it
of
selfish?
us?
Yeah.
You know, to kind of spread ourselves more thin than we already feel like we're spread.
Mhm.
So I'm driving, like I coach field hockey, and I was driving to practice.
Yeah, you do, Cassie.
Of
I
course
know,
I
I
do.
was gonna say
And
that too.
softball.
And softball.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah, you
That's
do.
right. Stereotypes
Atta
exist for a
girl.
reason. Right with
Right.
you.
Go
Atta
ahead.
girl.
Stereotype away. So I'm driving to practice, and, you know, I'm listening to, you know, the Faces of Parenting episode where, you know, you had these really awesome guests that episode. You guys, you were the guest. It was really awesome.
I was like, did we have? I was like,
And-
did we
I
have
was like, wait a
guests?
second.
I was
Who
like,
else was with
you
us?
guys, you were the
Because
guest.
all I remember was bitching about my kids.
I know. I was like,
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
huh.
You were the guest. And I love when you bitch about your kids because it normalizes it for us. Because, you know, sometimes when we talk shit about Beckett, we're like, oh, should we
guilty.
say something
Yeah.
bad about her? But
I
okay,
know.
The answer is
Anyway,
yes,
that's-
you should.
But
Yeah.
you know what? The truth is, they can be real
Shits.
a-holes. And if you're not saying that, you're not telling the truth.
Right.
They can be a-holes.
Right.
yeah.
You know.
Insert a pandemic. So that was fun too. But
Yeah.
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 Like
my
motherhood is
God.
not glamorous. Okay. It's
No.
definitely aged us. It was very hard on me too. Like I have MS. And, you know,
Oh.
through everything with Beckett, my MS flared up, and
Oh, geez.
it was just
Yeah, you got a new scan and she had a new lesion on her brain and she's like, I'm calling that the Beckett lesion.
right. It totally is. Yeah, she caused it.
I
Love her
love that you
lots.
guys can just keep light.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
know.
have to.
I know. It's so important.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Oh,
you know, there are
geez.
just so many things that,
You're talking about the episode.
yeah, bring me back. Bring me
Faces
back.
of parenting. You got it.
Phases
you
of
know,
parenting.
Great
Okay,
guess.
yeah.
Me and
Great
Jamie.
guess.
I was getting there.
Okay,
Erin.
good. Go ahead.
Okay.
She's on her way. She's on her way.
She's practically there.
Yeah, so I'm driving to field hockey, and it's the Phases of Parenting episode, and you played a recording from Ophira Eisenberg about her journey to parenthood. And, you know, she decided a little bit later in life that she wanted to, you know, pursue being a parent with her husband. And, you know, there was definitely obstacles for her. For those who haven't listened to the episode, like she had early stage breast cancer, and then she had like a miscarriage, and she ended up saying that she didn't want fear to dictate her decision on if she should have a child, because she couldn't stand living in a world where, you know, fear is the reason why she makes the decisions that she makes. And I was driving to practice. I heard that. I had to call Erin instantly and say, we're trying, because I don't want fear to be the reason, which was our only reason why we don't pursue having another child, because
Oh my
we're just
God.
so afraid of everything that could go wrong, instead of thinking, well, you
What
know,
if everything goes
what
right?
if everything goes right? And it just, listening to the episode, it just gave me chills down my whole body. I was so invested at that point. I said, call this, we're doing it. Call the hospital.
Get the coin collector.
Yeah.
Get that coin collector back on ice.
Yes, right.
Or out of the ice.
We're ready. And it was just kind of from that point on, it was go. There was no more discussions around it. It was just, I think we felt, comfortable moving forward. So shout out to Ophira for really kind of
get it. Ophira.
You know what?
We need to send this to Ophira.
I did. So I did send it to Ophira. And what's so amazing is she wrote back and she said, "This is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing this." And she said, "And God, I need to take my own advice more." And what I thought was so wonderful about that is,
oh my God.
is that like you were moved and then you moved her, and it creates this like circle of like love and people like pushing themselves to move in spite of being afraid. And that is just so fucking beautiful.
It is.
I'm crying, and I'm not gonna
I know, we're
lie.
all crying
I
up in
remember
here.
when we had that voicemail from her. I remember us having a conversation in the Spotify studio that when we were recording, and I was like, "Should we put this in? Like, I don't know. Does it fit the ep?" I remember like thinking, "I don't know. Should we put it?"
We were afraid because it was like a straight person. We were like, "Is this out of our wheelhouse?
like,
And are people gonna compare this to?" Like, oh, this is a straight person going through infertility and like, fuck that. Or is that going to make people mad? And we were like, no, she struggled.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so glad we put it. I feel like it was glad we put it in for you, and then you put it back in for her, and then it's full. And I'm just crying.
I know. And I feel like oftentimes as, LGBT families, we get so, I don't want to say like hateful of, like heterosexual
Spiteful.
couples.
Right.
Like,
Spiteful's a good
spiteful
word.
is the appropriate word for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it is because we're jealous of how much we have to pay for sperm and, all the intent we have to put behind our families. But I think it's easy for us to forget, there are just as many, heterosexual couples in that fertility office as there are, LGBT couples. And I think that, that is something that we need to remember, because it's not like the path to having a child is always easy.
Yeah. A struggle is a struggle.
Yeah, regardless.
Jamie, I want to talk about California Cryobank for 1 second.
Oh my God. Isn't it funny that we both used California Cryobank to make our babies?
You're already off track. Okay. I want to give our listeners a code that they are going to love. Okay, here I go. Use the code OCT.
For Ovaries Could Talk.
Right. Yes. And you're going to get a free level 2 donor information subscription access for 90 days.
That is worth $145. And you guys, it's going to give you access to extended donor profiles, childhood photos, and adult photos for some of the donors. It gives you access to their medical histories. You can read personal essays they've written, which I personally loved. And it's a really great value. But you know what I love the most about California Cryo, Robin?
Is this other than the fact they helped us make our kids?
Other than that, they partner with LGBTQ plus organizations like Family Equality, the Center, Only Human, to sponsor family building events around the U.S., which is great. And they also created a special discounted family preservation program for the transgender community people, which can help give the opportunity to have biological children after transitioning.
That is just so amazing. And I think it's also really important to note that they do medical testing, psych screening, background checks.
And they have over 40 years of experience.
They're not messing around, California Cryobank. So
They're
if any of you out there are looking for donor sperm, just go to cryobank.com, open a free account, and use the code OCT to activate your free subscription today.
That's cryobank.com, cryobank.com, and use that code OCT and get that subscription. It's so good.
Woo.
So we ended up having one more vial of our
Coin collector.
our coin collector, our boo. And, we were like, we went through all the, the STD testing again. And we're like, we'll just give it one more try if it's meant to be. What's for us won't pass us, shit like that. We were saying all that because we were like, we're great people. We deserve something.
We've already
good.
been through this. We've already been through this terrible journey.
Like
it's gonna
somebody
be easy.
needs to feel bad for us and just hand us
It is
this baby.
our motherfucking turn.
Yes.
Like feel bad for us, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
No one felt fucking bad for us, okay? Like no one did. No one ever does,
Yeah.
So we ended up and
We threw away our shot, I guess.
we did
Back
bike
to
lane
Hamilton.
collector. So we're devastated.
You threw away your shot.
Didn't work.
Didn't work. Well,
You didn't throw it away. You tried. You-
No,
you shot your shot.
We tried.
I don't even know where the
Well, I was trying to go back to
unused sperm
Hamilton.
goes.
No, I
Like,
get it. I
lost in
saw
your
that. I see
analogy.
you.
It's okay.
I see you. I see what you did.
Yeah, so then it kind of put us back into the whole, donor search, which I then
You've already
said-
picked 2.
Yeah, with 3.
three.
Which so then I was like, I'm the egg. I'll
You
bring
bring
the
the
egg.
sperm.
My ass is sitting on the toilet searching for donors. Like every spare moment, I'm looking. Like I'm
Where's
making
my
up
coin
different-
collector, boo?
Right. Like I'm
They
making
need
up.
an app. They
Right.
need an app
They-
for the sperm
they
bank. You could just be
do.
like,
Yeah.
Like Tinder.
That's not a
Right?
bad idea.
Swipe left,
that's
swipe
a
right.
good idea. Who's going to do that? Somebody is about to
Right.
take that idea.
Get on that
and run with
California
it.
cryo. Get on that.
Yeah, seriously. I did use your code.
OCT.
And then I'm like calling my
Yes.
friends and I'm like, listen, you need to get your 30-day free trial. You better sign up, give me your login so I can search because your girl's not paying
Yeah,
to look
girl.
at adult pictures.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm outsourcing at this point, trying to find our new
Listen,
donor.
I don't even think California
Listen.
cryo would be mad. You guys have had a
Yeah.
rough road.
Well, yeah.
Like it's,
so
it's your
we're
turn.
just
Deserves
looking,
Yeah.
and we didn't care at all if they had different sperm donors. I think we just kind of wanted them to look alike a little.
Like,
Yeah.
Beckett.
Yeah, Beckett and
Mhm.
And
You
our
know.
future child,
Yeah.
hopefully.
but
Mhm.
it didn't make a difference for us. We, the big thing was health.
We
at that
probably
point,
should have
right?
mentioned that our donor was retired. Like, that's why we
Yeah,
couldn't
of
buy
course.
more.
You but if they have siblings,
Oh,
they
their
can
sibling.
bring them out of retirement.
Oh, yeah, we tried all that. Yeah.
Didn't work
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. So we've picked one, or she picked one.
I did. I picked him.
So wait, I've been wanting to ask this. So like, Erin, you literally just gave the reins and you were like, you pick, I don't care.
I mean, just show
Like-
me what you.
Just show me. Just show
Just
me.
show me what you're looking at, and I'll tell you what I think.
Okay.
But
this
she's
is
like,
great.
whittle
I
it
liked
down
it.
to like 2. I'm not
Yeah.
getting involved in the
Like, but after work, Erin's trying to like relax and just watch like YouTube videos. And I'm hustling to find a donor. And
Poor thing.
like I'm just like, I'm staying up at all hours. I'm working on multiple computers, my cell phone. Like I am
You're like
I
a
am
broker. You're-
here. Yeah.
She's got multiple logins going.
Yeah. I
mean,
couldn't
I'm
even remember my
tired. I don't wanna
passwords
do
or
it.
yeah, she's tired. Oh, and we have a kid, it's a pandemic. Like it's a shit show. So we ended up picking a donor. I was like, I think this is our guy. I was pulling pictures of him up on the Apple TV and I was like, okay, I see you. This is it. This is our winner. And Erin's like, I don't care. Like, whatever.
Great.
Yes.
So we really forced them to give us a medicated try at this point.
Yeah. So they wanted to keep trying unmedicated. I'm like, we know that this does not work. Like,
We've
we've been down
already
this.
this
Yeah.
road.
So we buy one vial. I don't know why. We're like, let's just buy one. So we buy one.
You keep going with the small amounts of vials.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hope in you guys.
Right.
I just
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Well, so that didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Oh, okay. Dang, I was really.
I thought for sure
I
we were
know.
getting a big
He was a
reveal.
college
I was like,
student. He didn't work.
Yeah.
There's no big reveal.
Right. So this was the end of last year. And then we got an email because we worked for the same company that our company was changing their benefits and allowing for IVF to cover IVF.
Oh, yay.
So we're like, oh, do we try? Because we never decided IVF before because of the cost alone. It just wasn't going. It just
For a
wasn't
not
feasible.
sure thing. Like if
Yeah.
it was a sure thing, would be
Mhm.
Yeah.
second.
pay
But
for it.
just for right, but for not a guaranteed child, it's just
Yeah.
very hard to wrap your head.
So we get that process going at the beginning of the year, and benefits roll over. And we're like, well, we have to go and buy a new donor. And so then we're like, well, this guy didn't work. So let's go on to number 5.
So I'm
Oh my God.
hustling again. I'm back to the hustle. I'm back to the grind. And I'm working one day, and somebody one of Beckett's donor siblings, her mom was texting me because we're in a private Facebook group, as we do.
That's right.
And
As you do.
she texts me and she's like, you need to call me. And I'm thinking, I'm working. Like, I can't call you right now. And she's like, you need to call me. I'm like, you know that I'm working. It's 10 a.m. Like, I can't call you. So then she texts me and she's like, there's a vial of, our donor on the website. So I feel like I could have just like stripped off my clothes, like went crazy at this point because I am like my energy levels up here. I don't know why that was my analogy.
I
That
don't
was
know
my
why you
one
need to
awkward
take your
moment.
clothes off, but I love
Right,
it.
that was my one awkward moment of the call, Erin. She's going to bring this up later. So
She's like, remember that time when you said you were going to take your clothes off? Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care.
I'm
Here
not
we are.
even shocked.
Yeah,
That's
that's nice.
really just where we're at.
So Erin's in a meeting. I swing open. We have pocket doors, so it's not as effective as swinging open an actual door. So I swing open our
slide
pocket
it.
door.
Yeah.
Right. I try to slam that.
I'm on
pocket
a
door.
video call for my job. And she's like,
Yeah.
you need to get off the phone right now. And she tells me, and I was like, I gotta go. I'll be back. So I like log off the call and we're like, just, okay, here's our credit card. Like we swiped up the last vial.
Nice.
So we're like, well, it's meant to be. It
Yes.
has to happen. So yeah.
Again, we're like, this is meant to be. We're good people. Good things have to happen to us.
Oh my God,
Please.
please.
I can't take any more of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went through with our first or stimulation
Yeah.
Mhm.
and all that, which, whew, shout out to the women that go through this, because I don't think I realized. I knew that it was invasive, but it's rough, but worth it, right? Hopefully. So we did all that and did all the ultrasounds every other minute, it feels like. And it turned
Yeah.
out that I just didn't have a lot of follicles
Mm.
that were ready. So I'm like, what do we do now?
So I will say, before Erin and I met, she saw a psychic. Okay. And the psychic said that she was going to have a girl, but she saw a boy around when Erin asked if she was going to have kids. And Erin's like, should we call the psychic to see if we're meant to have children? Like, that's what she was thinking at the point, because it's actually kind of funny because we do have a girl. And when she says she sees a boy, we assume that's our son.
Yeah.
So we take this woman as truth, right?
Right.
Of
So we're
course.
like,
I do
how
too.
would she know that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
at this point, we're like, we need to call the psychic. Like, we need to, consult with her to make sure that this is actually what we should
As
be
you do
trying.
when you make
Did she
major
see
life
this?
decisions.
Well,
Yeah. Like, does she
There's
see
been
this?
so many twists and turns in this episode. I just don't even,
Right.
it's like, I can't see where it's going.
I definitely called a psychic when I
See?
was in my infertility thing.
Right.
I was like, she's going to tell me the answer. She's going to tell me what to do.
She knows what's up.
100% feel you.
Right. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, what if she doesn't see another baby? We might as well just stop wasting our time.
Go back to Ophira and the fear.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
So we decided, let's do another ovary stimulation. So we did that. And it was better this
So
time.
that's when I emailed you guys the day before Erin's egg retrieval, because just to say thank you, love you, mean it, like seriously.
yeah.
But that's not the point. Go
So
ahead.
we went through the egg retrieval. We got 16 eggs.
Ooh.
And of the 16, we have 2 embryos that made it
Mhm.
through on ice. So,
Mhm.
and that's kind of
Oh,
where
Jesus.
our story is right now. They are
Okay.
happily on ice.
Yeah.
And now it's the whole, well, when's a good time to try and do this? And
Well, we have medication in our fridge just waiting for us.
yeah,
You just
know?
have to do it. You got to start.
right. So,
So what,
yeah, I
what are
think
we waiting on?
What are we thinking?
we have a planned vacation coming up, which that's the cool thing about being about IVF is you can plan this whenever you
Yes.
want. So that's been
Right.
nice. So when we come back from our vacation is when we're going to do the
But our
transfer.
like our families don't know
Yeah.
we're doing this. Like
There's probably 2 people in the world, and then now you 2 that know that we've done this.
well, I mean, like I'm
Okay.
actually a little bit more of a loudmouth, like so like like I slipped it to some people at work, but like
Erin's like, what?
She's like, we
and-
did.
and I just slip it real quick, but our families have no idea, and I mean, I've kept that
Yeah.
secret.
So now it's and I've listened obviously to every episode in chronological order. So I have kind of an idea about what the transfer process is like. And I'm just like, I hope it works because we've already
hope
done
so.
10 unsuccessful IUIs. So,
Yeah.
so here we are.
So,
Holy shit, you
it's
two.
You just have to wait and for the right time. And then everybody has their fingers crossed.
Yes.
And I will say, you deserve it.
More than
you deserve
more
it.
than
Oh,
a lot of
thanks.
people.
Maybe this is the time.
It's weird because for us, timing is just, the time where we inseminated with ended up being our twins. Erin's mom at the time was actually in hospice, and we weren't going to.
We were going to skip that
we were going to
month.
skip that, but something in our gut was like,
Yeah.
we should try. But it just felt such an uncomfortable time to be
Mhm.
trying.
Mm.
But something in our gut told us to do it. And
Then we got pregnant.
And we
with
got pregnant.
our kids.
and they
so.
told us that the twins were actually conceived
Yeah, so
a day
yeah, that's
apart.
a whole.
Oh yeah,
we
because that can happen.
Yeah, we inseminated the day before my mom passed. So you could theoretically say that one child was conceived one day and one was the day after she passed. So we tend to believe that.
Whoa.
And so then I sometimes feel like if you believe in like spirituality and all of that, I tend to think like we lost our son, but my mom has him. So like that kind
oh,
of thing.
damn it.
Yeah, I know. So
Oh, that's
like
beautiful.
she
Oh
sent
my
them
God.
both to us, but knew like she was going to have one of them to herself, kind of a thing. So
That's
Oh,
beautiful.
Jesus.
I'm
Come
sorry,
on,
guys. You guys
Oh,
are really
Karen.
It's so beautiful. But you guys,
it is, yeah. But we know Beckett's going to be an awesome sibling because she already was and already is.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of why we are pushing for another child, even though maybe the odds are against us.
no, they're not.
You just never know.
It
And
was-
you never know.
Right.
And like,
It's such a hard decision. So like one of the things with Beckett right now is, which is not even for us, it doesn't make a difference, but Beckett is kind of being evaluated for autism right now.
mhm.
And we were at the neurologist on a Friday, and our egg retrieval was going to be like maybe a Monday. And she was like, so, if she does have autism, we'll have to genetically see why she has it, because if you have more kids, they might have, a similar diagnosis.
And we're like, ooh, is this another?
And we were like, okay, well,
we're already here.
We're
So,
doing it.
yeah.
It doesn't,
We're
that's
just always trying to
right.
go with our gut.
yeah.
So
But it was just, I didn't even know that is something that
Yeah.
neurologists,
No.
a genetic marker for autism. I had no idea.
Yeah, I don't think I did
Um,
either.
yeah.
No. I mean, there has to come a point where you just, like you say, you go with your gut and you hope for the best, and you just know that your family is coming to you, whatever that looks like. Your family is coming to you, and you'll know it's the end when it's the end, and
Yeah.
it's not the end yet.
No.
I am just in awe of both of you. I am. You are. I mean, we get to talk to some amazing people, but you two are incredible. I mean, this is
Oh.
just, I'm like
Thanks.
crying again. I'm so
Oh.
inspired by you and by the strength that you have, the love that you two have that you can see, and just your tenacity and how you're not giving up, and you're, however shows up for you, if it's another kid or if it's not, you already have created a beautiful, beautiful family. And
Yeah.
all of the love that we can send your way, we are.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope that we can give you another ovaries baby.
I hope
think
so,
that's
too.
We'll take it.
I think that's what we're hoping for, but we'll for
We'll
sure keep
take
you
it.
updated
Please do.
I know, because
we need to talk to somebody, right?
We are
Well, we're
here.
here.
We are here.
That's what we're here for.
We are
and
here.
we're invested. That's what we say.
Well, thank you, ladies, honestly, for everything that you've given us. You gave us what we didn't even know that we needed. And that's just kind of hope and faith and, never quitting on your family and, fighting for your big gay fairy tale, whatever that looks like. And
That's the best quote ever. Fight for that big gay fairy tale.
that's it. So
Right.
I can't wait till this
honestly,
episode gets out there, because then you're going to have a whole community of badass people that are sending vibes your way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, we need it. We need some good mojo for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, thank you both so
Well,
much.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, what a story.
It was so intense at points, but their love and the way they laughed through that and just and opened up, that was so moving.
beautiful.
It was an incredible interview.
beautiful.
I just love those two.
Me
And
too.
I am obsessed with like making sure they have another
I
baby and
know,
everything goes
I know.
okay.
But if
like,
they don't,
I'm
it's still okay. It's still okay. It's just
of course,
we want everything to work out the way it's supposed to work out. But God, I love those. I love those
But I want it
two.
to work out how I want it to
Of
work
course,
out.
of course. But I love
So.
them. I love them. So we're gonna keep you posted as they keep us posted. How about that?
Yes. If they feel it's our business to make it your business, then we will do that.
Right, which-
if they're like buzz off,
Which
we get that
also
too.
could happen. You could tell us to buzz off any time, and we will buzz.
People
off.
tell us to buzz off all the time just by ignoring us,
I
Jamie.
know,
We get it.
I know.
We understand.
I get
We
ignored
understand.
a lot. I just get ignored. My daughter ignores me. My son. Everybody ignores me. Anyway, all right, you guys. If you want to hear more stories like this, you should actually go get our book. If These Ovaries Could Talk, the things we've learned about making an LGBTQ family, which is available at all major retailers. And if you want to buy locally, you can check IndieBound. Go ahead and do that. Get that book. And you can also get the audiobook, which is Robin and I reading, which, I mean, who wouldn't want that? And that is available. I mean, we're actresses. I mean, come on. That's available.
I mean, we're performers, Jamie. We're performers meant for the stage.
And we read the whole book like this.
This is the voice that I use to read my sections, Jamie. Oh my God, the cat just popped her head up and started staring at me. She was like, shut up with that voice.
Anyway, okay, that is available on Amazon and iTunes, so you're going to want to do that. And if you do get it, don't be afraid to review it on Amazon or Goodreads, because that helps us get the book out to even more and more wonderful folks like you.
It's true. So let's keep the conversation going, everybody. You can join us on social, Ovaries Talk on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If These Ovaries Could Talk on YouTube, and that's where you're also going to see recordings of our live streams. And don't forget, our live streams are on Facebook and YouTube at 4 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. Of course, it will be dark during the month of August, just like the podcast, but, you know, it mirrors the same schedule.
Exactly.
And support the podcast and join our community on Patreon at patreon.com/Ovaries Talk.
Yes.
Don't forget, you get bonus content.
Yes.
I just delivered a t-shirt to a listener a couple days ago.
Who lives in your neighborhood,
A
which is crazy,
Patreon
which is
person who lives in my
amazing.
neighborhood.
Yeah. And you get video episodes. You guys do it. It's fun. Thank you to our sponsors, Title IX and California Cryobank. Go ahead and use those codes. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreons who are helping us make this show. We couldn't do it without you. We really can't.
We sure couldn't.
So we
couldn't.
thank you. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you.
And on that note, Jamie, I'd like to say eggs
Ovaries out.
That just became someone from Harry Potter.
What that was. I don't even know.
If these ovaries could talk, they would say,
Eggs, ovaries out.